practice and cultivation of ritual. So Nora is an herbalist and a potter and a barefoot earth walker. And just a really reverent human being. If you've been to the Sunday farmers market at Poorhouse, you've likely seen her critical ritual booth where she sells her pottery and her herbal medicines. That's where I met Nora. I actually brought one of her tinctures that I use a lot. This is a mimosa elixir, and it's been super supportive for me over the past year or so. This is a flower that grows prevalent on a beautiful tree here that has these like fern-like leaves. Nora started her business to really connect people to nature. I've learned so much about the plants, specifically a lot of our native plants here. And just to give you a little insight into kind of what Nora offers to the community through the plants, I wanted to read a little bit about what the mimosa flower can do for the body. So the mimosa lifts the spirit and gladdens the heart. It encourages restfulness, aids in mental focus, calms anxiety, and supports emotional stability. It took about an hour ago to calm my nerves. You can take 5 to 10 drops in times of change, grief, and overwhelm. And I just felt like this little bottle was such a perfect example of ritual and just the deep care and intention that Nora brings to everything that she creates. And that includes what she's created for us today. So thank you for accepting the invitation, and to all of you for showing up and heeding the call of the plant spirits this morning, and for waking up early to be a part of something that matters, that's meaningful. I really think that gathering like this is so important, and I'm grateful to be creating this experience with you. So, Nora, please will you guide us?
Hi everyone. I'm so used to speaking in very intimate gatherings, so there's a lot more faces out here than I'm used to. My voice will get more chill and relaxed as we go through. Jessica, thank you so much for this invitation. You have just become such a dear friend and sister, like in this life, and feel so much gratitude for you. So thank you. And thank all of you for arriving here today. Creative Mornings is a ritual space where we gather, whether it's your first time or your 50th time. This is a place where you can be in community. So if it's your first, I hope that you can make it more of a ritual going forward. So for me, ritual can be really simple. I can wake up every morning and go and wash my eyes with cold water just to clear out any residue from my dream space, to just start new. Ritual can also look more complex. It can really tune into my spirit, and I can use tools of sacred smoke like Eastern red cedar, a single sage leaf. It can become a ceremony. It can be something that I pull out my cushion, I pour tea, and I meditate. So whether it's something simple or complex, it's something that you can make time for every day. I grew up in Virginia, and I had the fortune of roaming the woods behind my house with my 2 cats I like to call my lions. And my mother encouraged me to go outside. Anytime I was bored, just go outside. And I started a ritual of walking barefoot and going to the creek to make potions. After I graduated from the College of Charleston, I started to travel around the world, volunteering on different permaculture farms and learning organic food systems. It was there that I learned the ritual of food, the ability to put my prayers and intentions into a seed, to harvest it with love, and to eat in silence. And then I moved to Thailand and I adopted a much simpler, slower pace of life. I was an English teacher there, and this country is just so potent in ritual, from the monthly, the daily monk offerings to the chants of prayer, just abundant and all around. And then I returned to the United States as a caregiver for my mother, and I supported her in her last years of life. I love you, Mama. And it was her death and my grief that brought me to the plants. It was her reminder in spirit to go outside and to walk barefoot. I was able to see the beauty in a simple flower and just remember what it is to be alive and have this fortune here. So I would love each of you to go ahead and connect to your neighbor. We'll just take a few minutes here and you can share with each other what ritual looks like in your own lives. Okay? So let's just jump in. I know, but it's part of the community. Just go outside. Charleston is, and all of you are. So thank you so much for sharing with your neighbor. Yeah, that's beautiful. So one of my rituals in coming into the space and creating a gathering is always making a mandala. So later, before you leave, if you want to come and check it out, I always love to connect with the plants, be outside with my bare feet on the soil, and check in with what allies want to come through for me before I'm gathering with people. And so today, Mimosa was a big ally, my anti-anxiety spirit sister, and some of the coffee is up here as well, baby mulberry leaves, and the resurrection fern that grows on the oak. I have been studying herbal medicine from many different teachers and medicine women over the last years, and like Jess was saying, I have my own business here that serves the community called Critical Ritual, and I offer herbal medicine that you can ingest, that you can put on your skin topically, tools for ritual and ceramics. And when I create the ritual medicine, I put intention into it, from the cleaning of the mason jars to the prayers that I put into each of the dropper bottles. And with the ceramics, I think about the origin of the dirt that it came from, and I think about the person who's going to use this vessel for themselves. I really put so much intention into the rituals that I create in offerings, and I also guide the community and we go on plant walks, or we meditate with tea together in circle and connect to the abundance of local plants here. Mimosa is a non-native, it's an invasive, so invasives are actually something that we want to harvest in abundance because they don't belong here. But also this plant spirit, and I call her she, but she's showing up for a reason because we are moving around really fast-paced in this world, and so I love to see when plants show up to support us in that way. So there are some keys and ingredients, I could say, to ritual. You were hearing earlier about how it can be really simple, using cold water, washing your eyes. It can get more complex too, but a ritual is a routine that we do consistently. To make it deeper and more rich and full of its true essence, you include purpose and intention into the ritual. Whether the time container varies, the more energy that you put into a ritual, the more sense of mindfulness you're creating. And this mindfulness with the connection, your attention, it's a discipline and commitment that you're making to your ritual. And it's the gift that you get to receive is the connection. So whether that connection looks like spirit or feels like love, the connection is there. So I know some of y'all heard that we wanted to bring coffee into this space. Coffee is a ritual of Creative Mornings. So we're going to do a coffee meditation. If anyone doesn't have coffee, you can either raise your hands or you can walk over here to the side. Okay, we're gonna have everyone walk over here if you need any coffee. And just as we start, if you don't drink coffee, that's totally okay as well. If you just hold it in your hands. If you do drink coffee, then you're welcome to just drink it at your own pace, as little or as much as you like. So we'll just give everyone a moment to fill up on the coffee. This movement that everyone's doing in the room, this is all ritual. And I think it's helping me move the energy in the space too, so it's not so stagnant. But let's really just stay in the container and stay like quiet with ourselves. Make sure that if you're walking mindfully, just slowing down. And rituals don't always go the way that we want them, right? So I had this whole thing in my mind that magically coffee was gonna appear in your hands and your cups. So also making sure that we have some ability to be flexible with our rituals too, I think is key. So everyone's just starting to sit down again, if you're in your seat, beginning to settle your gaze, keep yourself in your own emotional body here. Beautiful. Yeah, so really welcome you to close your eyes. If you don't feel safe closing your eyes, looking at the floor, looking somewhere comfortable. Let's take 3 deep breaths together. Inhaling. Exhaling. Yeah, 2 more, just like that. Inhaling. Exhaling. 1 more time. Exhaling. Beautiful. We're going to begin the practice, and I really welcome you to keep your eyes closed, bring yourself into this moment of mindfulness. And we'll begin with the Wise Woman tradition of healing, of calling in the directions. This is a tradition that I've been welcomed into, and I honor the privilege of being able to call in the directions. Welcoming in the spirit of the east, the energy of air, the air in our bodies that we breathe through our nose and our mouths, the wind in the city. Inhaling, exhaling. Calling in the spirit of the south, the energy of fire, this energy of change and transformation. Calling in the sun that heats this holy city. Inhaling. Calling in the spirit of the west, the energy of water, the waters in our emotional bodies, and the waters of the Ashley and the Cooper River that flow around the city. Inhaling. Exhaling. Calling in the spirit of the north, the energy of earth. Calling in the spirit of coffee up. Calling in all of the wild weeds that grow through the pavement here in downtown Charleston. Inhaling. Exhaling. Calling in the spirit above, the energies of our guardian angels. Calling in a circle of protection around us. Inhaling. Exhaling. Calling in the spirits below and the energies of our ancestors, those who walked before us. Calling in the indigenous that walked these lands and they tended them so beautifully. Inhaling. Exhaling. And calling in the spirit of our sacred center, the energies of our hearts, this place of circulation and blood flowing, our inner drumbeat. Inhaling. Exhaling. Our circle is created. So opening your eyes and gazing down into your cup. Looking at the color of this coffee. Bringing the cup to your nose and smelling the coffee. Connecting and letting the spirit of coffee enter you. When you're ready and if you feel called, taking your first sip. How does the coffee taste? Just beginning to speak to yourself in your mind, in your spirit. How does it feel on your tongue? Remembering to drink at your own pace. Feeling into where the spirit of coffee goes in your body. Is there a place? Is there a direction of movement? Beginning to open your creative mind, opening the possibility that this plant could take a form and appear as a spirit within you. welcoming in the spirit of coffee. Maybe it's a color, or there's a visual. Opening your body to the spirit of coffee and the healing that this plant can provide. Welcoming in coffee. Coffee. Imagining in your mind's eye a rainforest. It's hot and humid and wet. Look down at your feet and you're walking through this rainforest. In the distance, you see the color red. Continue walking in this direction, and you see a shrub with ripe red fruit. Continue walking to it, admiring its beauty. Kneel down, lay on the forest floor, whatever feels comfortable. Get on eye level with the shrub. And hear yourself speak to it. Coffee, coffee. Speak to this plant in your mind and thank coffee, coffea, for all the energy that it's given you through all the years that you drank it. Give gratitude to this plant. Begin to find your feet and walk around the shrub once, twice, 3 times. Retracing your steps out of the rainforest, listening to any sounds on your way out. Finding your seat here at the Mills House on Meeting Street in downtown Charleston. Finding your seat here, and when you're ready, slowly opening your eyes. Just pausing for a moment and considering how that felt to connect to coffee. If there's anything that you really want to hold in your memory from this experience that you can reflect on later and make more time for. Beautiful, thank you so much. Just a show of hands, how did that experience feel? Did you get more connection to it in a spiritual way compared to the visual way? Okay, a lot of nods. Beautiful. Yeah, so this is the coffee plant right here. There's another one in front of the altar on the floor too. Just if you want to see what your visual in your mind looked like compared to the shrub. It's a little baby. So coffee is in the Rubaceae family, and the genus name is Coffea. We all really know the caffeine properties and the way that it can improve our mood. It can give us more strength and vitality. There's a lot of research that's also been done on coffee being used for athletes and the way that it can improve endurance, and it can really help with just recovery time for the body as well. And the indigenous, they use the coffee for respiratory support, so cold and flu. It's a vasodilator, so it's really moving the blood vessels in the body and supporting the throat. It's full of antioxidants. It's really reduces inflammation in the body as well. And I know it's like, whoa, there's so many more properties to coffee than how we use it every day. So just tuning into that and acknowledging the availability of other medicinal parts of this plant. And there is an ability to drink too much coffee. So as with any plant, knowing your dosage. And there's some recommendations to drink no more than 5 cups a day. But you do you. So, coffee has a beautiful history, and it's not completely known where it comes from, but in folklore, it's known to come from Ethiopia. And what you drink today from Black Door Coffee is actually a blend from Ethiopia, Colombia, Nicaragua, and Brazil. So we got to touch into the origin of coffee. And the indigenous in Ethiopia would mix the fruit and the seeds with animal fat and turn them into energy balls to take before battle. And coffee has been used for so much intellect. We think of how much creativity and energy it can give us to do our work. Can you imagine the inventions that would have been created without coffee? It's this plant of powerful intellect. And coffee houses were growing popular here in the Americas around the 1600s. It didn't get popular until fully got its real claim to fame until after the Boston Tea Party, because it was a form of rebellion and a show of independence to drink coffee for us. So once the tea houses shifted more into coffee houses, it was this gathering space for community, creativity, commerce, and connection. So it's just steeped in this, and if you want to learn more about coffee, I have all the resources for you. I wish I could speak more of it. It's just so powerful. A beautiful, amazing feminist author, Starhawk, said, "Any ritual is an opportunity for transformation. To do a ritual, you must be willing to be transformed in some way. The inner willingness is what makes the ritual come alive and have power. If you aren't willing to be changed by the ritual, don't do it." Yeah, that's right. So this quote is valuable to me because it speaks to the willingness that we need when we practice ritual. And it's the reason why I named my company Critical Ritual. Rituals are something that are essential in our lives. And it's a desire that we need to have to show up in this world. For me, ritual it's a way that I can show reverence and respect for being alive. And it's not something that I take lightly. I put a lot of energy into it, and I can feel the difference between when I'm half-assing it and when I'm all in. So if there's one thing that you all can take out of the experience today, it is that ritual is critical. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. I'm wondering who might have questions. We have time for just a couple questions for Nora. Raise your hand. Did anybody get a color when they were tapping into their coffee spirit? Yeah. Did you have a question?